as far as things are going, the denuclearization of Iran is moving along well. They've had very good meetings, and we'll see. We hit them very hard for 3 nights, as you know, but we're getting along very well. So I call it the denuclearization, and it's all taking place. It's all going well.
So that was from 1 hour ago. President Trump with an update on the Iran peace talks. It comes as the special envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner meet with regional leaders in Qatar. Those meetings happening again today, amid reports that the President Trump has been briefed on options for returning to an all-out war. I want to talk about this and many other items with Anna Kelly, White House Principal Deputy Press Secretary. Anna, good to see you. Good morning to you, and happy birthday to America. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Bill, for having me.
You got it. Wall Street Journal, here's the headline. Once you get you to react. Trump briefed on all-out war options in Iran, but opts to stick with talks. The president told aides he's fine if negotiations with Tehran blow past an August 18 deadline for a nuclear deal. How do you respond to that, Anna? Is that what's happening?
Well, I'd love to back you guys up a little bit, because remember how we got here. The president launched the successful Operation Epic Fury, which was intended to eliminate Iran's ability to create essentially a conventional shield over their nuclear capabilities. So their ballistic missiles are gone, their production facilities are destroyed, their navy's at the bottom of the ocean, their air defenses are demolished, and so on. Now that gave the president, his negotiators, incredible leverage to negotiate a historic MOU that, unlike the disastrous Barack Obama JCPOA, which sent pallets of cash to Iran, this does not pave the way for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. This actually is about, just as the president said, the denuclearization of Iran. So after that MOU, which opened the strait, which again paved the way for denuclearization, conversations continue. Those 60 days of negotiations have started. I know that Special Envoy Witkoff, Jared Kushner, as you mentioned, had productive conversations at the regional level in Doha yesterday. Those technical teams are also having conversations on all components of the MOU. So the president's been clear. His preference is always diplomacy, and he feels like we have a great opportunity, and Iran has a great opportunity to make a good deal with the United States that would end their nuclear capabilities
Let
for
me
good.
just jump in. MOU, Member of Understanding, just to bring everybody up to speed on that if they have not already. I don't expect the White House to give up its strategy here on live television. However, if we return to all-out war with Iran, does that mean that MOU fails?
Well, the president has been clear. I mean, either way, the vice president even said so on Fox last night. I mean, either way, that we have created a tremendously more safe and protective situation for our homeland here in the United States. Again, this is a country that for 47 years has chanted death to America, has threatened our troops overseas. As President Trump says, they've long leveraged their proxies to commit atrocities against our troops. So either way, we have paved the way for denuclearization of Iran. Their ballistic missiles, again, are destroyed. Their military capabilities are totally demolished. And now those negotiations continue towards a final deal. So either way, the United States is safer and wins. But the president's been clear, if they shoot at us, we'll shoot back. But he feels like the United States and Iran have a good opportunity to make a deal that would eliminate their nuclear capabilities.
Got it. We'd all like to see that, and that would be a good birthday present indeed. Also, last hour, the president was asked repeatedly about the money that he's made, his net worth going higher while in office, and here's how he responded at Andrews Air Force Base.
Get involved in my personal, we have funds that run my money.
But you are benefiting.
Well, I've made a lot of money before I became president, and they invest my money, and I don't talk to them. I don't even speak to them. So I have many people, I don't know what they call it, closed accounts or something. You put your money in, and that's it. I don't talk to them. They're big institutions, and they run it. But yeah, I've had a great career. In business, I've had a great career.
Okay, so that was his response, and I want to give you the opportunity to expand on that. There was this story this week, too, about his sons making money off a deal in Kazakhstan. What's the White House's position on all these questions?
Well, I think the president said it best. And let's remember, Bill, why Americans elected this president to office, because he was an outsider who was tremendously successful in business, built the New York City skyline. And that's what Americans wanted. They wanted a businessman in office. So he has had a tremendously successful career. Of course, his assets are in a blind trust. He has no control of those trades. He's pretty busy as president. He's not doing those trades from the Oval Office as he's making decisions for our country. But look, as he said, all of his policies, historic tax cuts, the largest largest tax cut in history, which, by the way, every Democrat voted against, bringing investments into our country to create jobs, creating Trump accounts to build a financial safety net for American children. These are policies that uplift all Americans. So, yes, the president has had a pretty successful career in the past, as you know, but these are policies that are uplifting and making all Americans wealthier and more prosperous.
Okay, Dana and I are heading to Washington, D.C. this afternoon. Can't wait to get down there, and we'll see how America celebrates together. However, we watched history yesterday from the U.S. Supreme Court on birthright citizenship. Democrats are doing cartwheels on this. Have a listen right now.
I would have loved to have had some hearings on the unconstitutionality of the president's executive order on eliminating birthright citizenship. We could have been discussing that, but we haven't.
I don't even think it should have gotten to this point. I don't think it should have been the narrow ruling that it was.
It's a kind of a wonder that the thing had to even be adjudicated, because it says in plain language that birthright is, the law of the land.
Just have a few seconds left. It's a big topic. What's the best strategy right now, do you think, from your perspective?
Well, the president outlined it yesterday. Of course, we have a number of tools in our toolbox to address this issue, perhaps legislatively. That ruling was, of course, a disappointment. I mean, it's a truly asinine idea that someone could theoretically come into the United States on vacation for an hour, about to give birth, and then give birth. That baby is now given the full rights and responsibilities of an American citizen to vote in our elections, to receive welfare, to serve on a jury of their peers. So the fight is just beginning on this issue. Of course, the president has also, unlike any of his predecessors, delivered on his promise to secure the southern border, to deport illegal criminals. So we'll continue doing that, and we'll continue to use all of the tools in our toolbox to look into this issue.
Okay.
The fight is just
Appreciate
beginning.
your time. Anna, thank you very much from the North Lawn there, and we are getting ready for 250 for the next several days and beyond. Thank you for coming on today. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.